What's going on YouTube? Welcome to the channel. SSJ Quinny here, and today we are making a video. It is going to be Dragon Ball GT versus Dragon Ball Super. Now before we jump right into it, just let me explain something really quick. I promise this will be quick. I don't want to ramble on too long, and I will it's kind of important, so just let me explain this. So really quick, the reason why I made this video is because a lot of people hate on Dragon Ball GT, and I find honestly Dragon Ball GT is better than Dragon Ball Super in a couple of ways. I understand it definitely has its flaws, but I think they both do, not just Dragon Ball GT. Now, this video is only going to be on the main characters. I'm breaking this into a bunch of different videos because this video I started with the characters and it just got way too long, so I'm not going to make one super long video about it. So, this video is going to be on the main characters. The next one's going to be on the side characters and the enemies. Then it's going to be the storyline. Then it's going to be all of the new forms and transformations. Then it's going to be the fights, then the animation, then the power scaling. Those are all the topics we'll be rating the video on. Probably a separate video for all of them, unless one's really, really short. I can't get a lot of info out of it. So anyways, that's pretty much all I got to say. If you really do like this video, keep in touch with this channel if you want to see the next one. Anyways, that's enough of that. Sorry for rambling on. Let's get started, shall we? So this video, again, is going to be on the main cast. Not everyone's shown here, but quite a bit of them. So let's get started. So starting off, we have Goku, the main character. Now, I honestly found Goku one of the hardest characters to do because, honestly, they both have their flaws. Now, let me explain. Starting off with Dragon Ball GT. Now, the biggest thing that everyone hates about Dragon Ball GT is, yes, the fact that Goku is a kid. Now, honestly, my opinion on this, I did not think it was the worst idea, and I kind of liked it. Now, wait a minute. Put your pitchforks and torches down. I don't think he should have been a kid for the whole show. I do think that was a big flaw, but bringing him back for a kid was a good idea. It was kind of cool. It reminded me of old Dragon Ball, and I honestly really liked the idea. Also, it restricted his power. He couldn't use Super Saiyan 3, so kind of added some interesting stuff going on. Well, he could use Super Saiyan 3. He just couldn't get the power out too long. His little kid body made things worse. You know, it wasn't like he was acting like a kid the whole entire time. He wasn't acting like a stupid little kid like he did in Dragon Ball. He still had kind of the adult attitude. So, yeah, I didn't mind it too much. Maybe they should have only had it for a quarter of the show. Definitely not the whole entire show. I get why people didn't like that. It did get a little bit old. I agree. But at least for, you know, a quarter of the show, I think that would have been really, really good. Now, in Dragon Ball Super, Goku's an adult the whole time, obviously, but the character still has some flaws. They kind of mess him up a little bit. Now, let me explain. In Dragon Ball Z and even Dragon Ball GT, Goku has this attitude, you know, when he starts losing or when, you know, the world's at stake, you get that vibe from him that it's like, okay, yes, he cares about power. He's done some stupid or yes, he cares about having fun and fighting. He's done it while fighting Cell. He gave Cell a sense of being before Goku fought him that was stupid, right? But the thing is that you still get that vibe that he's like, you know, fighting to save the world. He's fighting to save his family. When Crillon dies, he got angry and turned Super Saiyan because he just lost a friend. You know what I'm saying? And in Dragon Ball Super, I really don't get that vibe. He seems to just only care about getting stronger, and he only cares about, you know, new challenges. He does get mad sometimes when he's fighting Zamasu and stuff like that, but you really don't get that vibe of him actually, you know, kind of being a hero. Does that make sense? Also, another thing, in Dragon Ball GT, they do a good job of Goku not going all out right away. One thing I do like about Goku is that he doesn't seem to use his full power right away. He likes to test his opponents, and that's a really cool character trait that I like. For example, Goku could have at least tried to use Super Saiyan 3 the whole time in Dragon Ball GT, but instead he only used Super Saiyan until he absolutely needed Super Saiyan 3. While in Dragon Ball Super, he spams Super Saiyan Blue like crazy. So honestly, for Goku, I'm going to have to give it to both of them. I think both the characters have a lot of flaws, so Goku's even in each show. Moving on. Now, on to Vegeta. Now, I don't mean to be in professional here or anything like that, but What the hell is this bullshit? When I was watching Dragon Ball GT when I was younger, luckily I missed the first couple episodes, so I didn't get to see this, but oh my god! Like, why would Akira Toriyama let this happen? This is the absolute, this is Vegeta! This is Vegeta right here that you're looking at. This isn't a joke. This is real. Why does he look like a gay biker? Not that there's anything wrong with being gay or anything, but why does he look like a gay biker? Okay, so here's the thing. He just looks fucked, first of all. He looks absolutely fucked. I think we can all agree on it. Number two, we all know Vegeta. Would Vegeta really go out and get a haircut? Is that like part of him? Does he care about his own looks? I understand they're trying to be funny and stuff, but this is weird, man. This is weird. And also, the stash, man. The stash. What the hell? Like, I have a creepy looking stash right now. Look at this thing. It looks like I should be driving an old work van and handing out free candy and ice cream. But I'm not Vegeta. It's okay. I'm allowed to do this. Honestly, though, with the character Vegeta, you know, with his Saiyan pride and all that, would he really care about his looks so much that he'd go out and get a flat top haircut, they'd ruin his spiky hair look, and then get a stash? It's just really weird and out of character to me. Alright, so more than just looks, Vegeta in Dragon Ball GT is hardly in the whole show. He comes in later on in the Baby Saga, and he gets possessed and makes one of the strongest Dragon Ball GT villains ever. But other than that, he is not shown. Number two, it seems, I'm sure he's gotten stronger, but it seems like he hasn't progressed at all. Since Dragon Ball, the end of Dragon Ball Z, there was already a 10-year time skip, and then I'm pretty sure Dragon Ball GT is like 3 years or 5 years after that even, and he still doesn't have Super Saiyan 3. He still is just a weak character, and he goes in with Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, and all the rest as in being a character that's much weaker than Goku. In this show, he's just so much weaker than Goku, and he's a side character, and it's just awful. Now, near the end, he gets Super Saiyan 4 along with Goku, and he skips Super Saiyan 3, but still, he needed to use a machine to do so. And then when he loses Super Saiyan 4, Goku says, why don't you turn Super Saiyan 4 again? He goes, not all people are special like you. So having Vegeta revert to a machine to turn Super Saiyan 4, kind of pathetic. I hated it. Now, in Dragon Ball Super, his character's great. For almost the whole entire show, he is absolutely even with Goku until Goku gets Blue Kaioken, and then Vegeta gets Super Saiyan Evolution, and then Goku gets Ultra Instinct. So Goku's a little bit ahead of him at the end, but actually, by the end of it, they're exactly even, because Goku can't use Ultra Instinct anymore, at least for now. And it's just great. He loves to fight, his character's the same, and he's also improved from Dragon Ball GT, so this one has to go to Vegeta. Now, Gohan. Now, in Dragon Ball GT, Gohan's not really that interesting. He's not in a bunch of the show in the beginning, and near the end, it was kind of cool seeing him fight against Vegeta when he was possessed by Baby, but honestly, other than that, every time he fights, he usually got his ass kicked. He doesn't have his unlocked potential anymore. He's just got Super Saiyan. So pretty uninteresting character, and again, he gets beaten a lot. Now, in Dragon Ball Super, Gohan had a rough go in the beginning. When he was fighting against Frieza, it was quite pathetic. He got his ass kicked really bad, and he also unlocked his unlocked potential. But for the Tournament of Power, they brought it all back. Now, I kind of didn't like how they just did it in 2 days, but they brought back his unlocked potential, which was really cool to see. They also brought back Super Saiyan 2 Gohan for a little bit, which was cool to see, and they made him a lot stronger. They also mentioned that in the manga, Vegeta says that Gohan got more potential than the both of us, so that was pretty cool too. So they did bring him back. There was a lot of mistakes, but it was a really good start, and it was really cool seeing him use his unlocked potential form in the tournament again, and in the manga, he brought it back as well, and they brought back the Piccolo Gi, which was really cool as well. So for this one, I'm going to have to give it to Dragon Ball Super again. He's not perfect. They could have did a lot better, and I'd like to see him back in more and fighting some more as well, and even get stronger. Now, Goten and Trunks. Kind of a hard one to do as well. Let's just start with Dragon Ball GT. In Dragon Ball GT, Trunks is one of the main characters, but honestly, first of all, I hate his looks. He looks stupid. Stupid fucking socks and all that shit. Just Google a picture of him, look at his socks. They make me mad for some reason. And Goten is hardly in the show at all. Both their attitudes, they don't really like fighting. They like doing adult stuff, which is just kind of depressing when you see how they were in Dragon Ball Z. And they never fuse into Goten, which kind of sucks. And they both can only go Super Saiyan. They really haven't improved any. I find their characters are just worse. Now, in Dragon Ball Super, yeah, they fuse into Goten, but every time they do, they get their ass kicked. One by Beerus, which is understandable, but then once by Copy Vegeta, which just sucked. Their scenes are uninteresting, and honestly, they're not in the Tournament of Power, which sucks too. They hardly ever have Goten and Trunks in the show in Dragon Ball Super. It doesn't seem like they learned from Dragon Ball GT, and honestly, I find it hard to give it to either one, because I didn't like Goten and Trunks in Dragon Ball Super. I didn't like Goten and Trunks in Dragon Ball GT as well. You'd think they'd at least still like training with Goku and Vegeta and at least have some training scenes with them. I thought that'd be really interesting, but nope, they didn't do that in Dragon Ball Super, which they should have done. But whatever, they kind of just suck in both in my opinion, so none of them gets it for this one. Not Dragon Ball GT, not Dragon Ball Super. Let's move on. Now Crillon. As much as I love Crillon, there's not much to say about him here. In Dragon Ball GT, he's hardly even in the show. He looks like an old man, I don't know why, but I just find it kind of depressing. And he just gets like one-shotted by 17. And in Dragon Ball Super, he fights pretty good in the Tournament of Power. He does great, actually. And he invents a new solar flare, which is really, really cool. So Crillon wins in Dragon Ball Super for this one, absolutely. Piccolo. Piccolo with Dragon Ball GT hardly did anything. He was hardly in the show. He helped Goku get out of hell, and that was basically it. Now, in Dragon Ball Super, I thought Piccolo was very disappointing as well. He lost most of the fights that he was in. We don't really see him training or getting stronger. We got to see him training Gohan, which was really, really cool. And he did get stronger, but none of his fights are really that interesting. And in the Tournament of Power, he got eliminated. It was just very disappointing the way he got eliminated. So honestly, I still have to give it to Super because at least they have him training with Gohan and trying to get better. Well, in Dragon Ball GT, we hardly see him at all, but I didn't really like him in Dragon Ball Super either. But still, Super takes the cake for this one. Next, we have Master Roshi. Now, in Dragon Ball GT, again, not much to say. He's in the beginning of the show. That's basically it. We see him a little bit towards the end. He has cool new glasses, but hey, it's kind of cool that he's still alive. I know he's immortal and stuff like that. He can't die from age, but yeah. In Dragon Ball Super, I thought they did an awesome job with Master Roshi. In the Frieza coming back saga and in the movie, it was super cool to see him fighting against a bunch of soldiers and going into his max power mode. And in the Tournament of Power, they did a really good job with Master Roshi as well. He used the Mafuba / the Evil Contentment Wave many, many times. I mean, like, I think it was 3 times he used it, and he was almost dead at the end of it, but still, he went above and beyond. Vegeta got trapped in it, then he freed Vegeta, and he just did awesome in the Tournament of Power, and it was so cool to see him bringing it back. Yes, Master Roshi is not on the level of all the other fighters now, but he still has some tricks up his sleeves, and in Dragon Ball Super, they did just that by bringing him out. It's kind of weird how in the manga, Master Roshi was like using a little bit of Ultra Instinct and actually being like super strong and dodging some of Jiren's moves. That's just kind of weird, but still, bringing him back and making him strong a lot better. In Dragon Ball GT, he didn't really get any attention at all. So this one goes to Roshi for Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super wins that one as well. Next, we have Android 17. Now, we could argue that Android 17 is not a main character. By the end of Super, he kind of is, so I'm going to include him on this list, because it's not going to be very long either. Now, in Dragon Ball GT, Android 17 fuses with a fake 17, and they make Super Android 17, as seen here. He's really strong as Super Saiyan 4, and he can absorb energy, and he's, just a really, really strong dude. Didn't really like the character too much. Why? Because I just thought it was ridiculous that 2 Android 17s, which are only around Super Saiyan level at the Cell Saga, was beating a Super Saiyan 4. I really didn't like it. And then Goku says, this is kind of unrelated to the character, I guess, but he's all like, well, how do I fight him if he keeps absorbing my energy? I don't know, maybe you can punch and kick him. I don't know. The character was just kind of meh. Now, in Dragon Ball Super, it's kind of cool that Android 17 is a good guy. I liked how they did that a lot, and he's a wildlife dude. He's protecting animals on this island, which I think's really, really cool, but there's some flaws as well. Unexplained, he is as strong as Super Saiyan Blue, and it doesn't explain how he got that strong, and in my opinion, it's really, really dumb. But still, even though both of these characters, their power scaling doesn't make sense, Android 17 from Dragon Ball Super, his character kind of developed. He's a good guy now, and it's really cool how he wins the Tournament of Power and fights alongside Goku, Vegeta, and all that stuff, and his barriers come in really handy, and he ends up winning the Tournament of Power, and instead of wishing for a giant boat, he wishes all of the Tournament of Power fighters back, which I thought was really cool, or all the universes back, shall I say, which I thought was super duper cool, and because of that, I gotta give it to Dragon Ball Super. Super Android 17, basically, a Fall 17 came back, and they fused, and Super Android 17, he's there for a bit and he dies. And Dragon Ball Super, again, both their power scalings are absolutely fucked. Excuse the swearing again, Nova Scotia, just the way it is. But, yeah, way better in Dragon Ball Super, in my opinion, just because, he's a good guy, it's interesting to see him good, and, just way more interesting character, I guess.
Next, we have Majin Buu. Now, let's start off with Dragon Ball GT. In Dragon Ball GT, again, he doesn't do too much. And then in the Baby Saga, he actually takes a Herculean Pan inside of him so they can't get controlled because he was immune to being controlled. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then he ends up fusing with Oob to make Maju, who's very, very strong, which I thought, I like the character Buu, so I didn't really like that much, but I gotta say, it was kind of a cool idea, and I gotta give Dragon Ball GT props for it. What would have been cooler if Maju could transform into like a pink version of himself and have all the regenerative abilities, you know what I'm saying? But in Dragon Ball Super, Buu is pretty cool as well. Now, he fought Beerus, got beat really easily. In the Tourney of Power, in the tryout rounds, he did fantastic. He took a beating and he was getting hit all the time, but he used his regeneration abilities and he ended up winning. The problem was, for Frieza and the Tournament of Power, they keep using the whole Buu falling asleep thing, which I found very, very, very annoying. I didn't like that one bit. Like, they gave Buu a new form. And we never even got to see him use it because, again, he fell asleep, and I guess he falls asleep for long, long periods of time, and I don't know, just very disappointing. So for this one, though, I'm going to give it to each one. Why? Because that fight, Buu versus Basil, I believe it was fantastic. It really showed Buu's regenerative abilities and really showed how strong he was. I would give it to Dragon Ball Super if they didn't have Buu falling asleep all the time. And Dragon Ball GT doesn't get it because, again, Buu wasn't in it really much until he fused with Oob. And, yeah, so both of them for sure.
And for the complete scores, Dragon Ball Super wins this one.
So guys, that is it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. As you can see, Dragon Ball Super won this one very easily. Let's give 1 to Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball GT is at 0. But hey, don't think Dragon Ball Super is going to win every single one. Spoiler alert, it's not. But yeah, if you liked this video, please let me know with a comment down below what you liked. And if you disliked it, that is fine. Drop all the dislikes you want. But it would help me if you told me what you disliked in the comments below so I can improve. I take constructive criticism very well, and I've gotten quite a bit of it on this channel. Again, thank you all for watching. It means a lot, and I really appreciate it. And you guys all have a fantastic day. Stay happy, stay healthy, and again, have a great day. This is Jay Quinney out of here.